Hi there, and welcome to my channel! This is my first YouTube video and I hope it's the first of many to come. Today I decided to challenge myself into turning my digital art into a sculpture. I decided to go with this bad boy right here. I'm going to take you through my process of bringing my drawing to life, and let's hope I don't lose you guys in the process. So with that, let's get started! Lying down paper towels and grabbing a side towel is best for keeping clean, because, let's be honest, sculpting gets pretty messy. I'm going to be using a paper clay from the dollar store. This clay right here really gives you the most bang for your buck. In addition, I have my aluminum base for the bathtub to make the sculpture more stable. Because paper clay is on the thicker side, I prefer to rip small pieces at a time and then knead them. Kneading the clay loosens it up to be more malleable and ultimately easier to sculpt with. After kneading the clay for a minute or so, I then flatten the clay to make it look like a pizza. Flattening the clay helps cover more of the aluminum base. Here is the whole process sped up. After covering the entire aluminum base, I then get water to smooth and shape the clay sculpture. This is one of my favorite parts of sculpting. There's just something so satisfying about smoothing away the bumps of the clay. Depending on what you want your clay to look like, the smoothing and shaping process can take a long period of time. Mine took me around 3 hours to smooth. A long 3 hours. So now that we are done sculpting, I'm gonna leave it to dry anywhere from 12 to 18 hours and then we'll sand it. So with that, I'll see you tomorrow.
One eternity later.
So after drying, I ended up with these two beauties. They are still somewhat bumpy after drying, but that's what sandpaper's for. Sanding these bad boys down is going to be the hardest part, but definitely the most rewarding one. Just imagining how cute these are going to be after the whole process is done is a really big motivator for me. I started off with a 60 grit sandpaper. This sandpaper is not too intense but coarse enough to really start shaving down those bumpy areas. I also like to rip the sandpaper into smaller pieces. It makes it a lot easier to work with. I'm super happy with how the bathtub turned out. It's super smooth. Next up is to now sand the woman. Now that the sanding is done, it's finally time to paint. I'm using a mixture of pastel pink and hot pink to get the particular shade of pink that I'm going for. For this type of clay, it is best to paint several layers to allow the desired color to come through. While we wait for the other part of the sculpture to dry, I'm going to paint the bathtub. The bathtub is going to be black on the outside, white on the inside, holding black water. I know it sounds somewhat confusing, but it'll make sense when you see the final product. Again, I'm going to paint several layers of paint to make sure the full pigment is coming through. With that, here's another sped up process. Quite unfortunate here, but I forgot about the camera and my big old head got in the rest of the painting shots. After many hours later, I finally finished the two pieces. I'm super happy with both the bathtub and the lady. All that sanding really did the trick. The video does not do justice to the sculpture, so I decided to take some pictures for you all. I ended up liking it so much that I put it in my Gencon as a key holder. Overall, I would say that turning my digital art into a sculpture was a success. If you liked this video, please remember to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys!